Does this sound familiar? A notification pops up. It's a text from a coworker, a friend, or a family member. They're asking for a favor. It's not a small favor, and it's on a day you've guarded for yourself, your one day to recharge. Your stomach tightens. Your shoulders tense up. Your brain screams, "No, I can't," but before you know it, your fingers are typing back, of course, happy to help. The moment you hit send, a wave of regret washes over you, hot and heavy. You just said yes when every part of you wanted to say no. Now you're left feeling resentful, overcommit, and a little bit angry at yourself for letting it happen again. What if I told you that learning to say no isn't about being selfish or unkind? What if it's the single most powerful tool for earning respect, protecting your energy, and actually improving your relationships? Stay with me, because we're about to unlock the psychological secrets to saying no, completely guilt-free. 1. Understand why you feel guilty in the first place. The guilt you feel isn't a personal failing, it's a deeply ingrained social program running in the background of your mind. From a young age, we're often taught that being nice and helpful is the fastest way to be liked and accepted. Saying yes gets us praise, smiles, and a sense of belonging. Saying no, on the other hand, can lead to disappointment, awkwardness, or even perceived conflict. The psychology here is rooted in our primal need for belonging. Our brains are hardwired to avoid social rejection because, for our ancestors, being cast out of the tribe was a literal death sentence. So when you consider saying no, your brain's ancient amygdala flags it as a potential social threat. It triggers a small burst of fear and anxiety, which we then label as guilt. You're not feeling guilty because you're a bad person, you're feeling guilty because your brain is trying to protect you from being disliked, using an outdated survival program. Another powerful psychological force at play is the rule of reciprocity. We feel a deep, unconscious obligation to repay what others have done for us. If a friend helped you out last month, you feel an almost unbreakable compulsion to say yes to their request today, even if it's a huge inconvenience. Imagine your friend asks you to help them move apartments on a Saturday. You've been looking forward to this Saturday for weeks. It's your only day to sleep in, read a book, and just exist without any demands. But you say yes. Why? Because you're afraid they'll think you're a bad friend. You picture the flicker of disappointment in their eyes. You worry they won't be there for you the next time you need something. Recognizing that this feeling is just an old, faulty alarm bell is the first step. It's not a moral compass telling you you're wrong, it's a survival instinct misfiring in the modern world. 2. Master the positive no. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking a no has to be a cold, hard rejection. This black and white thinking is what makes it so difficult. The secret is to frame your no in a way that still affirms the relationship and shows you care. This is often called the positive no or the yes-no-yes method. The psychology behind this is brilliant. You start with a yes to the person and their value, then a no to the specific request, and end with another yes that offers a genuine alternative or reinforces your commitment to them. This approach validates the other person, so they don't feel personally rejected, while still allowing you to hold your boundary firmly. It's a strategy that communicates respect for both them and yourself. Think about this. Your boss comes to you on a Friday afternoon with a quick project that will clearly ruin your weekend plans. The old you might reluctantly say yes, feeling your heart sink. The new you uses the positive no. You say, "I really appreciate you trusting me with this, and I'm dedicated to producing high-quality work for the team." That's your first yes that affirms your role and their trust. Unfortunately, I can't give this the full attention it deserves over the weekend because of a prior commitment. That's the clear. unapologetic no. However, I can block out my entire Monday morning to tackle it as my first priority and give you my full focus then. How does that sound? That's your second yes, offering a constructive solution. You haven't rejected your boss, you've managed their expectations professionally. You've affirmed your commitment, stated your boundary, and offered a concrete, helpful alternative. This doesn't just get you out of weekend work, it builds your reputation as a thoughtful and reliable person who manages their time effectively and respects the quality of their own work. 3. Use the power of the pause. Our tendency to be people pleasers often operates on autopilot. A request comes in, and an automatic yes flies out of our mouth before we've even had a chance to process it. The most powerful way to interrupt this deeply ingrained pattern is to simply create a delay. The pause is your secret weapon. The psychology here is about taking back control from your automatic, emotional brain and giving it to your logical, deliberate brain. An immediate request puts you in a reactive state, where your desire to be helpful overrides your own needs. By pausing, you shift from a reactive mode to a proactive one. It gives you precious seconds to check in with yourself. Do I actually have the time for this? Do I have the mental and emotional energy? Do I want to do this? The pause signals to the other person that you are taking their request seriously, but more importantly, it signals to yourself that your own schedule and well-being are just as important. Imagine a fellow parent from your kid's school asks if you can watch their child for a few hours tomorrow afternoon. Your gut instinct is to just say sure, to be nice and avoid any awkwardness. Instead, try this. Take a breath and say, let me just check my calendar and see what my afternoon looks like. I'll text you back in the next 10 minutes. Or, that's a kind offer, let me just think about that for a moment. In those 10 minutes, you're free from the pressure of their expectant face or an instant message waiting for a reply. You can look at your schedule, consider your energy levels, and make a decision that's right for you, not for your anxiety. Whether you end up saying yes or no, the choice is now a conscious one, not an automatic reaction. This simple habit of creating space between request and response can single-handedly transform your ability to set boundaries. 4. Stop over-explaining. When we finally do muster the courage to say no, we often feel compelled to follow it up with a long, elaborate, and often fabricated excuse. We create a detailed story about why we can't do something, hoping it will soften the blow. But psychologically, this almost always has the opposite effect. When you provide a long list of reasons, you're subconsciously communicating that your no is weak and negotiable. You're opening the door for the other person to problem-solve your excuses. Oh, you have to do laundry? You can do that later. Oh, you're feeling tired? Just have a coffee. A simple, polite, and firm no is far more powerful and respected than a no that is buried under a mountain of justifications. It signals that your decision is final and non-negotiable. Remember this simple acronym, JADE. Don't justify, argue, defend, or explain. Let's say you're invited to a social gathering you have absolutely no desire to attend. Instead of crafting a novel-length text about how you have an early morning, and you think you might be coming down with something, and your cat seems lonely, just be concise and polite. A simple, "Thank you so much for the invitation, but I won't be able to make it," is perfectly sufficient. That is a complete sentence. If they are a true friend, they will accept it. If they push for a reason, you don't have to invent one. You can simply say, "I've just got some other things I need to take care of," or even more simply, "I'm just not up for it this time, but I hope you all have a great night." You don't owe anyone a detailed audit of your personal time. The more you practice this, the more you'll realize that people respect clarity and honesty far more than they respect flimsy, over-explained excuses. 5. Reframe guilt as self-respect. This is the crucial mindset shift that ties everything together. We've been conditioned to see guilt as a sign that we've done something wrong. But when it comes to saying no to protect your time, energy, or mental peace, that guilt is misplaced. It's time to reframe it. The psychology of this reframing is about consciously changing your internal narrative. Every time you say yes to something you don't want to do, you are saying no to something you do need. You're saying no to rest, no to your hobbies, no to spending quality time with your immediate family, or no to your own peace of mind. That pang of guilt you feel for saying no to someone else? Try to see it as a pang of respect for yourself. Imagine you're asked to lead a volunteer committee that you know will consume all of your free time. You say, "Thank you for thinking of me, but I'm unable to take on that commitment right now." The old guilt starts to creep in. They'll be disappointed. The project might fail. Maybe I should have just done it. Now, reframe it. Actively tell yourself, by saying no to that committee, I am saying yes to having dinner with my family every night. I am saying yes to having enough energy to be present in my own life. I am saying yes to protecting myself from burnout. This isn't an act of selfishness, it's an act of self-preservation and self-respect. When you start viewing your no as a yes to your own well-being, the guilt begins to lose its power. You realize that you are the sole guardian of your time and energy, and protecting them is one of your most important responsibilities. 6. Set proactive, general boundaries. Many of our struggles come from having to say no reactively, in the heat of the moment. A far more advanced and less stressful strategy is to communicate your boundaries before you're even asked. This manages people's expectations and prevents many difficult requests from ever being made in the first place. The psychology behind this is about setting the rules of the game in advance. When people know your general principles, they are less likely to ask you to violate them. This feels less like a personal rejection to them and more like you simply operating according to your own established system. It depersonalizes the no entirely, shifting it from a personal response to a general policy. For example, if you're the person in your family who is always called for last-minute favors, you can proactively manage that. The next time you're all together in a relaxed setting, you could casually mention, "I'm really trying to be more structured with my weeks to keep my stress levels down, so I'm not really able to handle last-minute requests anymore, but I'm happy to help with anything if you can give me a few days' notice." This isn't a confrontation. It's a simple, calm statement of how you operate. Or for work, if you're constantly getting messages after hours, you can add a simple line to your email signature. "Please note that I respond to emails between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m., Monday through Friday." You're not telling any single person no. You are creating a boundary that applies to everyone, making it much easier to enforce without feeling personal guilt. It's the ultimate defensive strategy in the art of saying no. So, learning to say no isn't about becoming a colder, less helpful person. It's the exact opposite. It's about ensuring that when you do say yes, you're giving it with your whole heart, full of energy and genuine desire to help, rather than from a place of obligation and resentment. It's a skill, and like any skill, it takes practice. You might feel a bit of that old guilt at first, but with each no that honors your own needs, you'll build the muscle of self-respect. You'll be teaching the people around you how to treat you, and perhaps more importantly, you'll be teaching yourself that your time, your energy, and your peace are not just valuable, they are essential. Your no is not a rejection of them, it's an acceptance of you. Remember, this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is not a substitute for professional advice. True, sustainable change comes from understanding these principles and applying them consistently in your own life. Now, I have a question for you. Think about your own life, your work, your friends, your family. What is the one situation where you find it hardest to say no? Share your story in the comments below. Reading through the experiences of others can be incredibly validating, and your strategy for dealing with it might be the exact thing someone else needs to read today. Let's start the conversation.